When you hear the word gypsy, you don't always think about business first. My next guest is the Business Gypsy, and her name is Heather Cox. That's her business, the Business Gypsy Web Design. She does so much with social media, with web design and development, and helping her clients achieve a level of success. And here it is in the middle of February. It is freezing cold, freezing rain in Delaware. Heather is going to help us light it up and heat up this interview. I can't wait to talk to her and discuss her beginnings as an entrepreneur in the family business, talk about what she's been doing, what she's been up to, and she's on the new social media site Clubhouse. That's really where I started learning a lot more about her, and I followed her for a few years and met her here and there, and she is truly phenomenal. So it's going to be a lot of fun to sit down, talk to her about her career, get some tips and tricks being an entrepreneur, what makes her tick, and what she's up to next. So let's bring on the Business Gypsy, Heather Cox. Our world is changing faster and faster. Humans are constantly on the go. Over 70% of people are not happy in some way. They're living in the shadows of fear, especially in their careers and life. Are we humans doomed? I don't think so. And that's where I come in. My name is Joseph Stanley Reichowski, otherwise known as Joe Woo. Each week, I seek to uncover what it takes to truly live your life to the fullest by finding out through interviewing people what were their failures and what did it take for them to reach success. Their stories are truly inspiring, and perhaps they'll inspire you to let go of your fear and live your career and life to the fullest. All right, everybody, I got a very special guest here in Heather Cox, the Business Gypsy. Welcome to the Career and Life Show, Heather. What's going on?
Thank you. Hey, Joe. Thanks for having me. This is so exciting.
I know, and what's interesting is like we're local, so this is really cool. So we're local to Delaware. I interview people, all around the world, and I'm just super excited to interview you. Basically, like not even like 5 miles away, which is so cool.
I know. Delaware strong. Hashtag Delaware strong. 100%.
That's exactly it. And once this pandemic's over, we'll do this stuff live. But I just felt it was good to get out, and I wanted to get you on here because I followed you for a while and really gotten to appreciate what you do, because I think it's one of the biggest things I see out there is consistency. I mean, you are like pounding the pavement out there every day, and like my alerts come up, there's Heather, and it's so cool. So great job on that.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So what was the biggest reason you got into, entrepreneurship and getting into the business that you do?
So I actually started when I was 21. I am 35 now. So that's 14 years of being a solopreneur. I wanted to be my own boss. I kind of got tired of working for other people and making other people's dreams and their business dreams come true. So I was like, you know what? Like, I'm done with this. So I quit my job. My dad gave me his old laptop. He donated to me. He was like, here, I just got a new laptop.
Wow.
Take mine. And I basically just started with my old Android phone and my laptop. So I really just wanted to be in control of my own life. And that's what a lot of entrepreneurs want to do. They want to follow their own dreams. And that's really what I wanted to do at 21, which was crazy at the age of 21.
Right. Just jump in and all that. So I know you helped run your family business. Did that experience sort of help you become an entrepreneur? Because it's a family business, you're an entrepreneur, but what were some things that helped you really get into entrepreneurship, or what are some lessons that you learned in that business?
Yeah, 100%. So my mom owned the Wallflower Gift Boutique in Lantana Square for 10 years. Before that, she actually ran the Wallflower Gift Show out of Greenbank Mill. And that was a biannual, like twice a year show that she ran. And she brought artisans and crafters from Delaware and the tri-state area together to sell their goods. Before that, she actually ran her business out of our home. So at the age of 2, I remember seeing customers coming in and out of our front foyer because my mom turned our front foyer into a shop, essentially.
Wow.
So seeing my mom be like so driven, and she even got onto QVC selling some of
Oh my
her
gosh.
dried floral arrangements. Yeah, so seeing her do this was really inspiring. And I am an entrepreneur. My mom is still an entrepreneur. She owns the Fairy Potter. My older sister, she does music. She's out in New Zealand, like, you know, trekking it out and doing
Oh my
music and
gosh.
fire hooping. And then my younger sister, she owns a horticulture company that does like, you know, gardens and stone work. And she's also an artist. So our whole family is really involved in
I was gonna say
entrepreneurship.
everybody is. It sounds like.
Yeah, it's crazy. And my dad also is a singer-songwriter guitarist. So
Oh my gosh.
it's kind of ingrained in our family.
Yeah.
And it all started with that family business, the spark from my mom.
Yeah, so natural progression for you then to just be an entrepreneur. You had it all over the place, so there's no turning back on it.
100%,
So
yeah.
that's awesome. So, you know, I know we talked about a little bit before the other day about entrepreneurs, and you know, I see so many young people get out there and they have a great idea, or they feel like they have a great concept, and they just struggle and they give up so quickly. Why do you think most people get out there and they struggle? Like, what's the biggest thing you see?
You have to be a self-starter when you're an entrepreneur. There's nobody behind you telling you you have to get your work done. You have to hit this goal today. You have to make X amount of money to stay within your budget. You don't have anybody to do that for you when you are a solopreneur entrepreneur. You need to hit the ground running on your own. And if
Right.
you are not a self-starter, then you're going to fail right off the bat. So that's a huge problem that I see when a lot of people are trying to start their own business, is that they don't have the drive, and they don't like, they can't, they're not responsible for their own actions. So that's one thing that I see a lot, is that you have to be a self-starter in order for your business to grow continuously.
Yeah, I agree. And it's sad because there's so many people I see that give up so quickly. I mean, when you see people come across you, I mean, you see a lot of people frustrated when they come to you, or just they're just not sure what to do and where to go, and not really have the direction, I guess, too.
Right. Yeah, 100%. I mean, a lot of people, they're like, well, I like so many different things. Like, I
Yeah.
like to do art, but then I also like to do cosmetics, and I like wellness. Where do I go? What direction do I do? And what I really say is, what are you passionate about? I was really passionate about social media. Like, my first business page was on a Facebook profile when you needed a .edu email.
Wow.
Like, I saw the writing on the wall in regards to social media, and I've been passionate about it ever since. So you really need to find that passion and that love that you have for something, and then you can really just kind of refocus it into a business.
Gotcha. You know, do you think too, like, you recommend people getting mentors out there too, or at least somebody behind you? Because as you said it perfectly. It's like, it's just you and that's it, you know. And I think a lot of times, like, I remember when I first started, it was just me. I'm like, oh shit, it's just me. It's like, there's nobody going to hold me up. It's not like school where, hey, you fail, you could retake the test, or you could redo this. It's like, oh my gosh, if it's me, it's all on me and that's it. And that's a big, like, burden to have. But do you think, like, mentors really help up front, or do you recommend something like that too?
So I would first really figure out what you want to do. Mentors can be great. Yes. Coaches can be great. They can help you, direct you in where you want to go. But a coach is not going to tell you what your passion is. You need to figure that out on your own, and then find a mentor within that industry, within that space, before you like hire somebody like that. Because if I didn't know what I was going to do, be like, oh, I need a coach to tell me what to do. No, you need to find what really drives you and what your passion is. Then find a coach or a mentor that's within that industry to help guide you through the process of creating that business within that industry.
Gotcha. I like how you said that too, because I think that's a real important piece, is finding somebody in that industry. Because if you, I've, you know, messed around with a lot of coaches and just mentors and people who I've gotten to know in multiple industries. And I remember, like, just starting my career coaching business, you know, years ago, got somebody who was like, no, you got to do this, you got to change that. And it was very frustrating because like that person wasn't aligned and they weren't in the same industry. So that's a really, really good point you bring up
Exactly.
to get somebody aligned in that industry that'll help you grow. Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
So now with your fully owned business of the Business Gypsy Web Design, what exactly do you offer? I know you do web design, you do social media, but can you kind of describe exactly what you do for people that might not know you?
Yeah, sure. So I've been doing this for 14 years now. I do WordPress website design and development. It's all encompassing, right? So I do the WordPress website design, then I do the social media management and marketing, and I make sure that the social media is integrated with your website because that's very important. It creates brand trust across all platforms. Then we go into the marketing of there's newsletter, SMS. There's also, grassroots marketing. There's flyers. There's, the whole anything that is fully encompassing of marketing I do because there's many different aspects to it. I mean, I remember my mom before the internet, she had like an address book of people who wrote down their address, and she employed us three girls to put stamps on these postcards, and she would send out postcards. So a lot of the grassroots marketing is really important. I mean, I've gotten all my clients through word of mouth, and it's very important because if you have that brand trust, and that's creating the website, social media, newsletters, your logo, branding, and everything cohesive. So that's what I really do is I create cohesive brands across all spectrums and all platforms online.
Gotcha. No, and I think that's a great point too, just being cohesive, because I see so many people, struggle with that. They'll do something here, something there on one site. Like, what do you recommend to be cohesive or get your message nice and tight and just make it flow across the board? Because I think that's a big thing I see. Somebody will be on Facebook and they'll put their business on their personal Facebook, and they'll have an Instagram account, it's a business account, or they'll even have different social media names. Like one person I know has basically does stocks and helps people pick the next big stocks, and he's got like the stock man here and it's like the stock buddy Bob over here on Twitter, and it's just not aligned. So how do you fix that for somebody then if they're just all over the place?
Right. So I would think first I would create a brand that you can use across all platforms. So if you look up the Business Gypsy or Business Gypsy on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, like TikTok, literally.
You're everywhere.
Right. Like literally, but it's a brand cohesion. So you really want to use that username and your your business name across all. Joe Woo over on TikTok, but then you're the Woo Joe over on Twitter, so like you want to really create that brand cohesion, and it's really important for search engine optimization. So I have a brand hashtag, it's hashtag BGWD, and if you search that hashtag on Google, I'm the first page that comes up. But if you also search it on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, you'll see all of my posts come up because it's a branded hashtag that creates cohesion across all platforms and across the whole entire internet. So being really cohesive and structured with your branding is super important.
Yeah, that's huge. So what are some other mistakes that you see, people make that they can avoid? Like if you're to help somebody, say, hey, look, you got to get your message clear. You got to have a good brand identity, but you got your website up, you got some social media. What are some other little things that people that really do wrong that should do better? Like, would you say that you see?
So one, don't use fuzzy photos. Like if you're going to be using stock photos, that's fine, but please don't have the lines over the stock photos that you pull from Google. Please don't do that. Number two, fuzzy photos, if it's not crisp and clean, it doesn't need to be perfect. I have stuff behind me and it's nice and propped up, but it's not perfect. I'm not here to create a perfect look. Everybody's living online these days. We all kind of know now that life isn't perfect. So social media is kind of reflecting that now. Creating a cohesive brand, like we just discussed, is very important. And then also just being authentic. I mean, nobody wants to hear about scale your business from 5, 6, 7 figures and you have no business even telling anybody that. Like, you should really be authentic and real and don't be fake. Like, I see a lot of people being fake, and
I know.
I'm not into that. So yeah, that's one mistake. And especially since now during COVID, we all live online. So,
Right.
you know, we can all tell that, like, if you're being real or fake, and especially with the inflection of your voice. And like, if you're, you know, right now, I'm not, you know, being like, hi, my name is Heather.
Right. Exactly.
You know,
Right.
like, I'm super real and chill. And I feel like everybody kind of needs to get down to that level.
Yeah, I agree. I think that that's a huge thing. And you hit like one of my biggest frustrations is the entrepreneurs or the fakepreneurs out there, because it's crazy. Like, I know, like, when I first got on Clubhouse, I started getting all these people following me, and then I started getting all these friend requests on like Facebook, and then Instagram followers, and then more Twitter followers. And then, like, the biggest thing right now that drives me nuts is, like, somebody will send you a friend request, and I'm a little bit open to that, to say, hey, this looks like somebody knows somebody in the mortgage industry or the coaching industry. I'm like, yeah, let me get to know this person, see what they're about. And then not even like 3 seconds after I friend that person, boom, I get the like message, that's like, hey, buy my shit or buy my stuff. It's like not even hello. And that just drives me
like,
nuts.
We don't care about your
Right.
coaching course or
Right.
your MLM right out the gate. If I haven't talked to you for 5, 6, 7 years and
Right.
you're messaging me to like buy something, that's not authentic. You're just being fake with me. And
Right.
like, I don't have time for that. So.
Oh, I know. And unfortunately, I mean, I'm very like easygoing, but like that stuff now, I just, like, as my businesses have grown, I just don't have time for it. I'm like, sorry, I'm not interested. And I just block it at this point, because I can tell it's so fake. And I'm like, I don't need it, because I had this one guy, I was like, let me just let it go and see what happens. And I kid you, for 5 days in a row. And then somehow the guy went on my website, got my phone number, started texting me. I was like, dude, that's enough. Like, stop.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh my gosh, it's like, just be real. Just stop being fake. Just, hey, is there a hello? It's like, you can't marry somebody on the first date like that.
Right, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to really, take it easy and stuff. But yeah,
You do. And you need to be like real with people. Like, you just can't just jump out the gate and just shove products and shove things down people's throats, because it turns them off right away. So
yeah. Do you think that's one of the biggest things right now out there that's, I think, most frustrating for entrepreneurs? Because I feel like I just see it more and more, and especially with COVID, like you said, getting online now so much more. I see it on LinkedIn. It just drives me nuts. But like, do you think that's like just a big stopping point for people? Because I've had a few friends say, hey, yeah, I want to do business, but it's so noisy out there with all that garbage. So how do you tell somebody to get around that and say, look, just don't bother with that, or just like put that aside, just do your thing?
right. Well, in regards to that, like, if there's so much noise out here right now, and to really hone in on what you want to do, or trying to find somebody to work with, right? There's so many fake people out there, and it's really difficult to find like that right coach, like we discussed earlier.
Right.
Go with reviews, referrals. That's very important. And then try to break through the noise. Just really look at how they present themselves. If they are consistent, if they say they're going to do something, and then they do it. If I'm going to say to you, Joe, I'm going to email you right now, and then I email you right now, then that is like, you are walking the walk. You're not just talking the talk. So really just look at people's actions, because actions do speak louder than words.
I agree with you so much, because it's like, I remember when I first started out, I was like, yeah, I'll email you, give me 5 minutes. And then 2 days later, the guy's like, hey, never got that email. Like, oops. And I'm like, yeah, I gotta like adjust that. And then you learn from that and say, okay, I gotta set that expectation. I say, give me 5 minutes, I'll email you 5 minutes. You're getting that email in 4 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever it is. And you have to, because like you said, it's so noisy out there that even in the mortgage business or even in the coaching business, people's attention span is so short right now that they're just like, okay, if I don't get an answer, I'm going to the next guy. I'm going to the next guy. And it's real important, I think, if you're just starting out too, that, you got to make that noise. You got to get above all this noise. And you said it best, the way you do it is just walk the talk, basically, and just, put it out there and do it.
Exactly. And if you're not going to do what you say you're going to do, people aren't going to trust you. That's just how it is. And word does get around, especially here in Delaware.
Exactly.
I mean, Delaware is super small. So, I mean, if you're not doing what you're saying you're going to do, then like people hear it, people know,
Right.
So, but that's just us here in Delaware because we're
Yeah.
super small. So
Oh, I know. I tell you, I tell people all the time, I'm like, you really need to move to Delaware to just experience that, because it's like, I mean, in any business, it's like, and you're in circles of friends who are no friends, and oh, I know that person. And it's like it's 6 degrees of separation. Everybody knows everybody here, and you hear the rumors, and you're like, wait, what just happened with that person? Like, really? That happened? And it's like, oh my gosh, and the word travels so fast. So
it
I think
does.
that's one thing I like about Delaware that really has made me, grow into the person I'm at. And I think even just watching you these last few years too, it's like the same thing. It's like, people are going to call you out on your shit if you screw up, and people are going to, hold you accountable. And that's what I love about Delaware, because it's like, you can't hide,
Exactly. And I grew up on that like Delaware handshake, right?
Yep.
Like that, like I don't do contracts with my clients, because if you hate me and I am doing a horrible job and you think that I'm doing a horrible job, get rid of me. That's fine. I'm not going to hold you in here and be like, oh God, please, you have to work with me. The contract says,
right.
No, this is the Delaware way. We are super straightforward. And, if you hate me, please tell me. And I'll just keep it moving, So
I love that. And that's exactly how I, treat people the same way too. I'm like, look, I might not be your cup of tea, especially in the mortgage business. I'm like, hey, I need all this stuff up front, all your documentation. Yes, I could be a pain in the ass, but it makes things flow quicker. Or I might not be the right career coach for you. There might be something, where you feel like, and I know when I first started, I was in that scarcity mindset. And I think that's a big thing entrepreneurs get hooked into, is scarcity, where they're just like, oh my gosh, I got to get every client. And not every client's the best fit. And you make a lot of mistakes because you get bad deals, bad business, just a bad fit. And I love how you put that as, hey, like just walk away. And I've gotten to the point where I've said to somebody, hey, I don't think I'm the best fit for you. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, because you're over here, I'm here. Or even mortgage business too, it might not be a good fit because I might not have that program, and I'm not going to keep trying. So that's a big pivot I made. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs I could see need to make that too, get out of that scarcity mindset, because that's what keeps them down.
100%. And not all money is good money. So
yeah. Oh yeah. I learned that very early on, and a couple hard lessons, when you didn't get paid, you're like, I'll help this person. And I love doing that. And it's like, wait, okay, they didn't PayPal me. Here's the invoice. I'm like, 3-4 days, 10 days. I'm like, all right, this isn't good. And I'm like, and it's not fun. Or you get a check back in the day and it bounces and you're like, that's not good.
Right.
So let's dive into your business a little bit more. So what does your business coaching entail? So let's say if I signed up with you as a client, kind of walk me through like what that would look like.
So you would get 4 weeks of one-on-one coaching with me. And there's different levels. The biggest one is the BGWD VIP package, because,
Nice.
I like to do all that kind of branding.
Right.
But, you get 4 weeks of coaching with me. And it depends on the package, but, like the simplest one is 30 minutes on a Zoom or FaceTime. I coach you for 30 minutes on anything regarding your business, social media, branding. I do hashtag research. I'll audit some of your social media. I'll audit your website. So there's a lot of things that I do, and I help you literally like stop those blockages in regards to your business and you moving forward as an entrepreneur. Like I did a coaching call with some woman, and she, didn't really know like what to even call herself. She was like, I'm a personal shopper. I do, different type of personal, like, it's really hard to even express what she does because and so I branded her, and she was like, oh my God, this is like all encompassing. And I even did a logo with like a bee, because she's like a busy bee. And now she has her logo, she has her business card, she has her website, which we're in the middle of building. Awesome. She has her color scheme, and she now has like she's going forward now, and she's actually picking up new clients. So, I help stop those blockages in regards to branding and social media, and kind of help you like get over that hump of like, let's get that website done, because if, you wait, somebody else is going to do it. somebody's going to jump into your spot that you should be in. So, yeah, the coaching, it's 4 weeks with me. Once every week we're on a phone call with one another, or a Zoom or a FaceTime, whatever works for you. I'm doing hashtag research. I'm doing branding research. I'll even help you create a logo. So yeah, there's a lot of things that can go into a coaching call. And I really, cater to the individual. So if they do need help with one aspect of their brand, then I help them with that. And everybody's different. Everybody's business is different. So every coaching call will be different.
Gotcha. And that's what I like about you too. And, you know, just working with clients, and you always say it, and it comes so clear, is it's very important to work with clients so closely, because you see so many people out there with these coaching packages. Here, buy my stuff again. You know, it's like $1,000 or $2,000. And then, yeah, you get on a 30-minute call and it's like 100 people on this call, and you don't get that personal time. And it's like, oh, well, go watch my stuff. And I'm like, you know, and I signed up for a course like that a couple of years ago, and I actually messaged the guy. I was like, look, dude, like, I get it, but my business is different than somebody else's, you know, or I need a little bit more personal help in this area. He's like, well, go watch that video. It helps. I'm like, well, what the heck did I just spend like $2,900 on or something? Like, this is crazy. So I think you hit the nail on the head with that, because it's so important, because it helps out with confidence. They feel like they're backed up, like, okay, I'm getting somewhere. I'm not, you know, stuck. I'm moving forward. And when you get that momentum, it's huge. You know, and you move forward.
And everything isn't one size fits all in regards to, like, great, I'll watch your video, but I may have something that's super niche that I need help with. And your video about something that's so broad is not going to help me. So
yeah, no, I think that's and you can see the testimonials like that you have out there to people that have worked with you, and it just shows clear how you come across. It's so super authentic, and that's what I love about you, is like you really take the time to help people, and that's what we need so much more in this world, is people just taking the time and really helping other people grow, because it's a great thing. It's a win-win for all of us. You know, it's a win for you, it's a win for the client, and you get referrals, and it's word of mouth, like you said, and grassroots. It goes back to just the mailing of the postcards and stuff like that.
Exactly. So. And I mean, like, and that's why I really like to work within Delaware and the tri-state area, because I'm keeping the Delaware dollars in Delaware, and I'm helping my community grow instead of, you know, helping, you know, California grow. Like, I appreciate if I am able to help California grow, sure, but I really want to uplift the community around me, because this is where I live. I'm born and raised here. So
yeah, no, and I'm not native, but I love Delaware, and the fact that like everybody knows everybody, and it's a small knit community, and you could just, you know so many people downstate. You're 90 miles away, but then it's like you're just talking to them like, hey, you know, I just saw you the other day. It's amazing. Whereas like New York City, you know, you live there, you might not see somebody for years, and they're like a mile away, and it's an amazing experience.
Delaware is like Cheers.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's like you got Norm, Sam, and everybody else in the mailman, so it's great.
Right.
So what's one lesson you learned in your career as an entrepreneur? Let's say a big mistake you made that you're like, oh wow, that was not a great decision, but you know, I learned so much from it and added so much value to propel me to the next level.
So when I first got started, I didn't start under the Business Gypsy. I started under HC Web Designs.
Okay.
And I had somebody stalk me and my business and tell me that I was in copyright infringement and I'm not going to go anywhere. They were like emailing me like back to back to back to back. So I got really scared as a 21-year-old. I was like, oh my God, like I'm going to be sued, like all this stuff. So I already had my blog, The Business Gypsy. And I write about life, love, entrepreneurship, you know, how to really just, you know, be yourself in your journey in life. So I was like, okay, well, I already have The Business Gypsy. I'm going to change it over to Business Gypsy Web Design.
Right.
But come to find out, it was somebody I knew doing that to me.
Wow.
And my biggest mistake was to like, don't be scared. Like, don't let anybody push you around, because I'm a really nice person. But I've been walked over and walked on a lot in my life due to the fact that I am a woman. I'm blonde, blue-eyed, and I'm nice. I am very empathetic, and I like to help people. And when you are like that, a lot of people take advantage of that. So I just don't take BS anymore. I'm to the point, I'm frank, and I stand up for myself. So that's one lesson that I learned throughout this whole entire process for 14 years is stand up for yourself. Don't be scared, and trust your gut, essentially. If you feel something to be off, then yeah, it probably is off, and you definitely should stand up for yourself and trust what your intent, what you're feeling, and how, that what your gut is telling you.
Yeah. And I agree. I think when you start out, you have a lot of fear because it's a lot of uncertainty and you're really kind of way out of your comfort zone. Because I remember when I first started doing videos, and it wasn't on a level you had, but I had so many people say, "Oh, what are you doing? This is terrible. This is horrendous. You look like shit on your videos." And I'm like, and I stopped doing them for a bit and I had so much fear. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just not meant for video. And then I was like, no, I just got to do it. And I remember, this was probably 2015, and it was all of a sudden I just started seeing Gary Vaynerchuk pop up in my my Facebook feed, and there was one post I remember. It's just do it. Who gives a crap? Don't listen to people's stuff. Just have no fear. And then it was I just started doing it, and I look back, I'm like, yeah, those videos were horrendous, but if I didn't let go of that fear, I wouldn't be here today, because now I'm just so comfortable with it. So it's you just gotta bust through that fear and not worry about it. And I think also to your point too, about not taking BS, because when we're young and we're entrepreneurs, we're going to get screwed by people. People are going to try to take advantage of us, and it happens, and it's a lesson learned. But I wish so many people would learn that early on, so you can kind of just gain the confidence, say, okay, no, I'm not taking that. You're not going to do that to me. And that's great points. Wow.
Yeah.
So,
and
awesome.
Again, in regards to the videos, practice doesn't make perfect.
Right.
Practice makes progress.
Yes.
And that's really how people should be, because there is no such thing as perfection.
No.
At all. Numbers, there's no perfect number.
No.
Pi goes on for infinity.
Right.
There's no perfect number. There's no such thing as perfection. There's only progress.
Right. And that's it. And for me too, even with this show doing it, it's the critics already start coming out, and I in 5-6 years ago, I'd have been like, oh my gosh, what are they saying? Maybe they're right. Now I'm just okay, whatever, thanks, and moving on. And I'm okay, it's a work in progress. It's not perfect, and it never will be, but the progress is going to be there where this thing continues to flow, and it'll lead to something really cool.
Yeah, and it has led to something really cool, because I'm here and I'm having
I know that's the thing.
Time.
It's I know it's awesome. And I just feel this conversation has been so wonderful. I've learned a lot, and I know so many people will learn a lot from a lot of your instinct and intellection about just how you grew your business and just all the stuff that you've done, and it's amazing. And I followed you for a while. I'm like, wow, this is really cool. I'm I think your authenticity really hit me, because I remember just being on Clubhouse and then just watching you on Instagram, and I'm like, that's authentic. I'm like, I love that. It's just no BS, no holds barred attitude, but there's a genuineness to you where you could see you really want to help people. You listen intently, and that's a big thing that's missing today, is just listening, for the clients, what their needs are. And I just wish people would do that more.
I completely understand. People need to listen and not to respond. That's one of my biggest things right now is just listen. Really just put your listening ears on.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And listen and really take in the information, and not just listen. And then once somebody's done talking, just respond. That's not how things are. And I feel as though that the internet is kind of switching over from that listen to respond to really listening just to listen.
Yeah, exactly. So you were named top woman in business by Delaware Day. What was that experience like? We were just holy great, this is amazing. Or what was that like when you got that?
It was so crazy. So I was on the phone with a client, and he's down in Dewey, and we were discussing his goals in regards to his website and stuff like that. And then this email comes through, and I'm like, I had to call you back because this is crazy. So I got off the phone. I'm like, Mom, oh my gosh. Of course, the first person I call is my mom, because she really was the spark that kind of started everything in regards to my entrepreneur journey. And then I also, it was crazy. And I went to the Top Women in Business luncheon, last year when
Okay.
they actually were able to have it at the Chase Center. And, you know, it was such a great time. You know, I met a lot of really inspirational women in the field. But then this year they couldn't do that due to COVID. So
Right.
we actually had an online like group. Like it was crazy. Like they had like a networking thing where we like all networked, then we all watched the video that we got done down in Wilmington. We went and we got a video like created about ourselves. And so it was really cool to see how Delaware Today pivoted from an in-person event to an all virtual event. And I think they pulled it off beautifully.
Yeah, no, they do some really great stuff. I love Delaware Today because they write really great articles, and they really bring in the essence of what Delaware is about, and the entrepreneurs, and especially when they post about top doctors, top businesses, like they really do a great job with it. So that's awesome.
And on top of that, like 2 weeks ago, I found out that I was named one of the most influential Delawareans 2020 by the News Journal and Delaware Online.
Wow.
And in the food space for helping like restaurants and food trucks pivot during COVID and helping them with like their contactless menus and helping them create their online markets and, you know, like ordering online and creating delivery services. Yeah, it's been kind of crazy. Like 2020 has been like 2020 was a kind of a really good year for me. But I think that's because everybody started living online. And, you know, I also got married in 2020. And
oh, wow.
So yeah, like 2020 was a good year for me professionally and personally. I know it was really difficult for a lot of people due to COVID, but I really think it was a good time for everybody to kind of do some self-reflection, and do some self-work and self-care, essentially.
I agree. Yeah, and it's interesting because a lot of people asked me, like last month, you know, I was on a lot of podcasts and just, you know, quotes for stuff, and like, what did 2020 teach you? And like, for me, it was the best year, like personally and professionally. I mean, monetarily, since I was in corporate America, and I was out of corporate America in 2015 probably, and like, it was the best year ever. And I just was so laser focused. I looked at it as like, okay, COVID, okay, let's figure this out. Let's get focused. We got to help people. There's people that need stuff for resumes, career, and mortgages and stuff. And I was just so laser focused that it goes back to, we talked about the word of mouth. I mean, people kept calling me saying, hey, he did a great job. He was so like by my side the whole process of buying a home, or he helped me with a resume, did this, to this. And it just was like, I was like, that was the best year ever. And it was such a really tough year for so many people, and all of us. I mean, it was tough because we didn't know what to expect and what was going on. But it's amazing how when you focus on the right way and the right mindset, that's huge. And I mean, what do you say to people to get them in the right mindset? Because I feel like too, like that's a big thing I see with entrepreneurs right now, and just even people who aren't entrepreneurs, like the mindset's there. I called it like the zombie approach, where, you know, like I'd be on the train to DC or the train to New York or Philly, and I just see people like zombies. I'm like, do you really hate what you're doing, or do you really hate life? You could feel it coming off them. So how do you get people in the right mindset? I mean, that's a big thing I think that people are missing these days.
You have to block out all the noise. You know, before the pandemic, there was a lot of noise. There was a lot of people telling you what to do, how to do it. It's the best way, this, you know, all that stuff. But then when the pandemic hit, it kind of just stopped. Everything stopped, literally, physically, mentally, everything stopped. And I feel as though that it gave everybody a chance to just breathe and think and reflect. So I think people just need to slow down, because we were on such a fast track, and the internet has kind of pushed that exponentially, right? Like we're like moving at the speed of light. Like we can look up anything on the internet right now, and there's so much noise, there's so much information that I feel like everybody was getting overwhelmed. Yeah. So my best advice is just stop, slow down, think about what you really want, and block out everybody else, because you're you, nobody else is you. Right. And you really should trust yourself and your gut. Yeah, you may not have all the answers on how to do it, but once you find that passion, then you can find somebody to kind of help guide you in that direction, in regards to that niche or industry that you really want to focus on.
Yeah. And a good question for you too is, something with entrepreneurs, like I know mindset's a huge thing, but something that's always bugged me is like not seeing many women entrepreneurs. I know we're starting to see that tide change a lot, but if you look, you got, Zuckerberg, Elon, Jack Dorsey, and it's like, the women entrepreneurs are coming. You got Sheryl Sandberg, who's really stepped out, which is awesome. You've got some other people coming, Indra, who's the head of CEO of Pepsi now, which is great. And I love it. How do we get more women entrepreneurs out there? Because I feel like it's still lagging behind. It drives me nuts. I think there's so many women out there that can really be doing some amazing things. How do we tackle that?
Well, with the pandemic, it has really hit us moms and females really hard, because we're the ones taking a step back from our businesses and a step back from our jobs, because a lot of our kids are not in school. My daughter is 5. We pulled her out of preschool because we just did not feel comfortable. She had pre-existing condition. Even her grandmother, she decided to retire because she had a pre-existing condition, and she was her teacher. Essentially, she was her preschool teacher at her school that she went to. So, a lot of women had to kind of take a step back and take care of family right now. And I think it's not proportional. And that's the issue with that right now. But at the same time, women have stepped back from their jobs, and now they're able to find that passion and really work towards becoming an entrepreneur, a business owner, a CEO of their own company.
Right.
I had my daughter 5 years ago. I literally took 2 months off. That was it. And I was working, holding my daughter in my left arm, and I learned how to type with one hand.
Oh,
and wow. I was holding my 2-month-old and working. Like, that's the struggle that a lot of women and moms go through. And that's why I feel as though that it's disproportional. And I'm just so blessed to have a husband who does all the cooking, because he loves to cook. And he does all the grocery shopping. And he really supports my business. My business did not take off until I had a wonderful support system behind me. So, we just need support. We need to be trusted. A lot of women have a lot of great ideas, but we're kind of glossed over because we are women. So, I would just say, again, trust your gut, because that was a lesson I had to learn, was really trust my instincts. Right. And a lot of women we do need to trust our instincts, because we are given that ability of our instincts to really focus in on, and we can do whatever, literally we can do anything. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you bring up a great point about support too, because I do feel that that's lagging from us guys. I mean, me being an entrepreneur, it's like, I know I'm busy, I'm going crazy. And my wife, she's entrepreneur's not in her DNA. She likes to do the 9 to 5, which is great, wonderful as a nurse. But I'm there like, hey, let me figure out the laundry. I can't cook for shit though. So I cook spaghetti and corn. So that's bad. That's as bad as it gets. But
you can support her by ordering dinner, like you said. Exactly. It's a great to be a support system.
Yeah, and I agree, and I think we all need that support, even as just entrepreneurs all together, because it's like, you get into some of these groups and some of these places where it's like, especially in Delaware, I got away from a lot of those places where it's like, hey, okay, great to see you again. Well, here's my stuff, buy my stuff. And I'm like, no, and I'll never forget, I was sitting down, at a networking event, and it was like speed networking or something a couple of years ago. And I just said something totally different. Like, okay, tell us about yourself. And it was like, this person sold insurance. This person was a health doctor. This person was like a health and wellness coach. And I just said, hey, I'm Joe. How can I help you? And it was like, everything just shifted, and it was so weird. And I'm just like, that's what we need to do, is just support each other more, in all areas. And people do so well.
100%. Yes.
This has been awesome, Heather. Seriously, like I feel like this has been pure fire. Like I'm just like on the edge of my seat here, like the whole time, just like this is so cool. Like it was so great to be able to get a chance to talk to you. Got one last question for you, which is always my $64,000 question and my loaded question. So if you could just give people one simple piece of advice, what would that be for everybody? Like be an entrepreneur or somebody who's just a regular 9-to-5er.
Be you.
Ooh.
Like really just be you. Like everybody else is taken, that quote, you know, be you because everybody else is taken. Like seriously, like I am not trying to be the next Gary Vee. That's not me. He's already taken. He can drop F-bombs all day long. But I can be like, I just be you because it will come across. People will trust you because you are being you. If you present yourself one way, you know, like, hi, if I literally was like, hi, my name is Heather, and and then after the video was like, so, well, that was ridiculous. Like, you know, like you have to just be genuine, authentic, and just be you because people will trust you and it'll come across so much better than just this fake avatar that, you know, a lot of people seem to have been creating for themselves.
Yeah, that is awesome. Be you. I love that. That just gives me chills because it's like so many people could benefit from just hearing that. Just be you, be your authentic self. That's awesome.
Yes. Well, this has been so much fun. I've had such a blast with you.
Oh, I know. I love it. I loved our Clubhouse chat the other day. I mean, we're just like, I feel like I go on for hours with you. We're going. It's great. It's awesome. And I know we'll do this live at some point or, you know, in person down the road once COVID appears. But thank you for being you. I mean, I love that. And thank you for all you do in Delaware. I mean, it's truly amazing what you do. And you inspire me every day because it's like, I just see your posts and it's like, for me, it's just like, I got to be consistent. Like, I know I got to do more with posting and being consistent. And like, I get a great vibe from you. I'm like, okay, that's where I got to be. Like, I got to be like Heather with those posts and getting on Clubhouse. And I'm like, so I kind of hold myself to that other standard now. It's awesome.
Oh, stop. No, hold yourself to your own standard. Don't.
No, I do. Yeah.
Just get rid of the noise. And then once you get rid of the noise and just be you, then like literally everything will flow. Like,
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So, I've had so much fun. Thank you so much. This has been awesome.
Everybody, Heather Cox of Business Gypsy. Love you. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Did Heather not heat things up? That was awesome. That was such a fun interview with Heather Cox, the Business Gypsy. We talked about her start as an entrepreneur, learning a lot of life lessons in her family business. And she talked about two important things. One thing is be you, and you've got to be passionate about what you do every single day. And those I think, are two key things to being an entrepreneur and to have long, sustained success. And she's been in the business over 14 years now, and she sustained and even grown her business and continues to grow her business now by following those principles. And you could see it and feel it and hear it in her voice and her expressions. She is so passionate about helping people. And what I love is she gets down into the details with her clients and really helps them in the right direction. So Heather, hats off to you. This was so much fun. Talked about everything imaginable. I absolutely loved it. You're one of a kind, and thank you for what you do. And we'll see you next time, everybody.